I'm gonna give you a little live moist meter on long legs here. I was extremely excited for this movie. It had so much hype. Like, all the headlines were, "This is the scariest movie ever. You won't be able to sleep without a nightlight on. Hope you got your mom to give you some warm milk on standby after seeing this one, because it's gonna scar you." It's the scariest movie in decades. Certified masterpiece, 100% on Rotten Tomatoes. And all the trailers looked amazing. So it came out today, and I just got back from it. Overhyped. I'm sorry to tell you. It very overhyped. I don't know what the marketing budget was, but they must have really sold it in a big way to the critics. Because it is good. Like, it's not bad by any means. It's better than most horror movies. But that's like, that's not a very high bar. Most horror movies are irredeemable slop. But it is better than most. But it's just, I don't know, it's not special. And I went into it expecting something like Hereditary level, where I'm like, I haven't seen anything like this. This is genuinely unnerving stuff. And the movie's shot beautifully, the acting's great, the story is good. It's just not scary. Like, really at all. Pretty much all of the scares are the exact scares that we've seen a million times in every other horror movie ever. They're just packaged a little bit better. Nicolas Cage was great. Everyone was great in it, but I don't think like a good performance can save a not scary horror movie. Like, there's a couple scenes that do a good job of building tension, but the tension never goes anywhere. They just let it peter out. So you'll have like a really long scene. It's like, oh, this is going to build to something like crazy. There's going to be something really, eerie about this. And then it just slowly fades. I don't know, it never got under my skin. I never felt like on the edge of my seat or scared, chattering fingernails on my teeth or anything. I just didn't think it was all that great. It's good, but it's not great. Why did they hype up what he looks like so much? Because Nicolas Cage looks like a super weirdo in the film. Like, that's all, like, he's a core part of the marketing. And he looks weird, but he doesn't even look that much different than... You know what he looks like in this movie? He looks like the grandfather from Holes in the flashback scene with Kate Bartlow, where she's like, "I'm tired of this, Grandpa," and he goes, "That's too damn bad!" That's what Nicolas Cage looks like here. It's not, like, it's nothing crazy. He looks exactly like this guy. So he just, like, progressively gets more and more like this guy as the movie goes on, with longer hair. I'm not getting into spoilers for Longlegs. I'm not going to get into, like, my specific complaints about certain things. I just think, overall, it was really hyped up to be something that it's just not. I also, and this is a complaint I have about almost every horror movie, even Hereditary, my favorite horror movie. I think the last 10 minutes of Hereditary undo the beautiful masterpiece that was set up throughout the rest of the film. Because then it just falls into generic horror schlock. But I still think Hereditary is one of the best horror movies I've ever seen, even in spite of that. This movie also has a really lackluster ending, because they treat the audience like they were too stupid to piece together what was happening throughout the whole movie. So there's like a montage that explains all of it and just beats you over the head with it. It's not bad. Please don't misunderstand me. Like I said, this is better than like 90% of horror movies that come out. But it is not the masterpiece that I thought it would be. Like, I was ready to, like, expect another Hereditary, which I guess is unrealistic. But it really wasn't close. So you just set your expectations a little high? Yeah, I think it's part of that. I definitely think that's part of it. And I think the hype around the movie does it a huge disservice once you actually see it. Because it's not the scariest movie ever made or anything. But it is a good movie. Why don't you like the ending of Hereditary? I think it's so unique. I think it's the opposite. The problem with Hereditary's ending to me is that it's not unique. The rest of the movie was. The final 10 minutes is just every jump scare ever shoehorned into a 10-minute speed run. The mom, like, banging her head on the attic. Then, like, a bunch of people coming out going, "Boo! Boo! Boo!" Like, the theater started laughing when the coat, or whatever it was, like, flew across the room. Like, it was so silly. Could hardly watch the scene with the headbang on table. I guess that's kind of minor spoilers, but I'll talk broadly about that. Have you not seen any other horror movie? Because every horror movie has that exact same scene. Hereditary has a headbang scene. Oh, Perfect point. In the last 10 minutes, yeah. The irony behind liking Hereditary. Please, explain the irony. I am all ears on how it's ironic to like Hereditary. It's an extraordinary movie. That's finally something unique and well done in the horror genre. Did you like Longlegs? I did. Like I said, it's good. But it is nowhere near what the hype would lead you to believe. So good as a film, but not scary, right? Yeah. That's kind of how I'd classify it. I think for certain people it will be unnerving, depending on how you respond to the themes. So it just wasn't one that I personally found to be frightening. What would I give Longlegs? If I was to put Longlegs on the moist meter, I'd probably give it like a comfortable 75%. Like, it's good, like I said. I'm confused about what actually scares you in horror films. Do you ever get scared? I mean, jump scares will sometimes startle me. It's not, like, scary, but when used appropriately, it can be effective. But, I don't know, tension. Letting things simmer and build up. I don't remember if I mentioned this on stream, but I watched Sinister the other night because it's one of those, like, horror movies that everyone gives a lot of flowers to. They're like, Sinister really is one of the best. And it's one of them that I hadn't seen before. So I watched Sinister for the first time. And the movie's pretty dog shit for the most part. But what it does really, really well is when it's going through the old home movies, the sound design is great. Like, the sound really fucking sells some of it. And then when it gets out of the sound, like when it gets out of the tapes, they just have like the really silly stuff with the guy who just goes up to the camera and does this. So, dog shit's being really harsh for no reason. It's fine, but it's not like, I would never say it's one of the best. Don't know if I can trust your horror takes anymore. Why? When was the last time you rewatched Sinister? It really hasn't aged very well. At all. Like, a lot of it is just kind of silly. But the tapes, like the actual tapes, are really well done. I would put Sinister up there with Smile. Nah, no. Smile's like, I like Smile a lot, actually. I would not put Sinister up there with Smile. Yeah, I got another super hot horror take for you. It Follows super sucks. It's all about, like, STDs haunting you for life and shit. Like, that's the deep message. But man, that movie is awful. It's not scary. It's boring. It's not good at all. Actually, the most overrated horror movie of all time. Yeah, I mean, I completely agree. It is bad. I need to know what horror you like. Give me your top 5. I don't know about top 5. Hereditary would be number 1. I think Smile might actually be in the top 5. I actually really like Smile a lot. Hereditary and Smile, I think for sure would be locked in 5. There's a couple of old school ones that I really liked, but I don't know if they've aged well. I'm trying to only go off ones that I've watched recently and know have still aged well. You like Talk to Me, right? Yeah, I don't know if I'd put Talk to Me in my top 5 horror movies, though. That's the thing. But I really like Talk to Me. You like Jordan Peele stuff? I thought Nope was great. I think Jordan Peele does great work. Yeah, I am a fan. I don't know, man. It's just some of the horror movies that have a lot of, like, prestige and hype around them, I just don't find to be very good. I think horror is just so trash as a genre for the most part that people, whenever they get something that's above mediocre, are like, this is the best thing I've ever seen in horror. Horror's back. And I just disagree. Is Martyrs your favorite horror movie? Depends if you... I think Martyrs should classify as a horror movie, and it'd definitely be in my top 5. It wouldn't be my favorite, though. I'd still give it to Hereditary. Martyrs, though, is one of those movies that's so disturbing that it's always kind of in the back of your head whenever you see anything scary as a horror movie. It's so good. In, like, the worst way. It's fucked. Insidious. Oh, who's ready for another one that's going to make people mad? I think Insidious sucks. I'm so sorry. That one's going to make people real mad. I rewatched that, like, 4 months ago when I was going through, like, all the classics to see what holds up. Shit is bad. It stinks. It's very, very, very cheesy. For the time, I could see why it was so scary, especially with the red face guy, but man, watching it again, it's very fucking cheesy. Do you think the Paranormal Activity movies suck shit? I haven't rewatched them. So I don't know. For their time, they were beyond innovative, though. I still remember when the paranormal activity movies premiered, there were the reports of people like puking in the theater, running out, screaming. So I mean, it was huge for the time.